Welcome back. This is the second part to my video for fifth graders showing you guys some problems on topic 12 to help you study for your test. So here we're going to start with number 5. It says, what is the volume of the rectangular prism shown below? Now in this problem, they actually give us the base area. So down here, the shaded area is the base area, which is 24 yards squared. And then they give us the height of 4 yards. So what we do when we have these two numbers here, the base area and the height, is we just take those numbers and multiply them to find the volume. So I'm going to do that on my whiteboard. I'm going to take 24 yards squared, and I'm going to multiply that by my 4 yards. 4 times 4 is 16, carry my 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. So this is now becomes yards cubed. Oh, that looks pretty funny. Becomes yards cubed since we found the volume. So 96 yards cubed. So our answer is going to be C, 96 yards cubed. Okay, number 6, Maggie stacked some unit cubes as shown below. What is the volume of her stacked unit cubes? So again, we have unit cubes, so they are only 1 foot. Just like in our first problem, we can just count how many blocks we have. We have to keep in mind that there are some that we cannot see, okay? So here I can see 1, 2, 3, and 4. Up here I see 1, 2, 3. Now I'm imagining that if there's one here, it has to be sitting on top of something. So there has to be one back behind here that this one is sitting on top of. So this should be 1, 2, that third one we can't see, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, and 8. So there should be 8 cubes here. So for this one, we would just write in our answer, and it would be 8 cubes, unit cubes. I'm sorry, it asks for the volume of the unit cube. So that would be, let me show my whiteboard again. So you would just write something like this. Let me change my color. 8 feet cubed. Because this is using feet, we counted 8 of them. And since we're working with volume, we need to use, oh, I'm sorry, I said cubed, but I wrote a 2. I'm so sorry. Let's go back and delete that. And we're going to put a cubed, a little 3 here. So 8 feet cubed. All right, let's go on to number 7. How many more unit cubes would Maggie need to stack so that the volume is 18? Ooh, we're looking back at the other one. Okay, so let me write some things down here because I need to scroll. So she wants it to equal 18 feet cubed. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. She wants 18 feet cubed. Now we decided that she has 8 feet cubed, right? Right here, we decided she has 8 feet cubed. So how many more does she need? Remember when we talk about how many more of something, how many more do we need? We can just take that 18 and subtract the 8, because that's how we find out how many more of something maybe that somebody has than somebody else or things like that. So this 8 minus 8 is 0. 1 minus nothing is 10. So she's going to need 10 more, right? 10 more cubes, okay? So let's go back over here to our question. How many more unit cubes does Maggie need? So for this one, we can write out an answer. Maggie needs 10 more unit cubes. That would be an answer for this one. Okay, number 8. What is the volume of the figure shown? Explain how you solved the problem. Okay, so my explanation is just going to be me explaining it to you guys as I go through. I'm not going to spend time writing out an explanation because I want you to really understand how to solve these problems. So again, just like that one that we did earlier where we have to break it up. We can't just look at this and really figure out the volume very easily. We need to break this into 2 different pieces in order to find the volume. So I'm going to break it into this bottom piece. I'm going to extend it out to here. and I'm going to find the volume of this piece back here. Okay, so I have 5 inches. So I have my 5 inches height. My length I have, or my width, whichever one it is, really doesn't really matter, is 12 inches. And then my length back here is 8 inches. Okay, so I have my height, my width, and my length of 5, 12, and 8. Remember, I'm multiplying those, length times height times width, in order to get how many or how much the volume is, how many cubic inches or inches cubed. So again, I like to break it up. So 5 times 12, I know that's 60 inches, and I'm going to multiply 8 inches more. I can do this easily by saying 6 times 8, which is 48. And then, so that way I know 60 times 8 is 480. So that first part is 480 inches cubed. Now I need to find out this part. And I'm going to exclude this bottom piece because I included it in my last one, in my last piece. So I'm just doing this top piece here, okay? So right here I have this 4. So I'm going to start with the 4. Let me change colors. 4 inches times, well, if this piece is 12 here, then I know that this piece is 12 here, because this piece is going to be 12, this piece is going to be 12, this piece is going to be 12. They're all going to be 12. So I know that this back piece or this front piece are 12 inches. Now this piece here is tricky. I don't have something for this piece. And here this tells me 10, but I excluded this part, this bottom piece. I only want part of it. So what I have to do is I have to figure out, well, how much is this worth from this corner down to the bottom? How much is this? How many inches is this? Well, if I see here, this is 5. If this is 5 inches, then this is 5 inches. And from here to here is 5 inches. So I'm going to take that 10 and I'm going to subtract 5 to get 5. So that means that this also is 5 inches, this piece here. So now I'm going to multiply our height times our width times our length, just like we always do. 4 times 12 is 48 inches times 5 more. I'm going to do that on the side. 8 times 5 is 40. Carry my 4. 5 times 4 is 20 plus 4 more is 24. So 24 inches cubed. So now remember, I have to take those two numbers, the 480 that I found for the first shape and the 240 that I found for the second shape. So 480, 240, and I had to add those two volumes together. 6, 7, so that should be 720 inches cubed. So that's what you would write down here, along with an explanation of how you solved the problem. So you would talk about how you broke it up and you multiply this times this times this, and then your second piece was this times this times this, and then you added those two partial pieces together to find the volume of the whole thing. Okay, let's go to number 9. The rectangular prism below is made from cubes that each measure 1 cubic centimeter. What is the volume of the prism? Okay, so I like to look at these as arrays. If I look at this top piece, I can see that there's 1, 2 by 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if I have an array, just like you're doing multiplication and you have an array and you have 1, 2, and then you have 1, 2, and 3, this is kind of like saying this is 2 times 3 equals 6, right? Oh, you guys can't see that, sorry. So there's my array, and it's kind of like saying 2 times 3 equals 6. So I like to show that because it helps me to understand what this piece really looks like, okay? You can just count it too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then look at how many layers there are. There's 3 layers altogether. So I can take this 6 and I can times it by 3 because there's 3 layers, and I know 6 times 3 is 18. So that means that this is going to be 18, what did it say, centimeters. So centimeters cubed, or you can write out cubic centimeters, okay? So if I took these all apart, I should be able to count 6 on top, 6 in the middle, and 6 on the bottom, which 6 plus 6 plus 6 is going to give us 18 altogether. Okay, so number 10. Mr. Ellis is recycling 2 cardboard boxes as shown below. What is the combined volume of the boxes? Ooh, they make it easy for us because they broke it up for us instead of us having to break it up. Okay, so Mr. Ellis is recycling 2 boxes. We have to combine the volumes. Okay, so that first one. So let's look at this first one here. We have 3 inches by 5 inches by 6 inches. So let's do that. 3 inches by 5 inches by 6 inches. Remember, we're multiplying them, multiplying length times height times width. You guys are going to do this a lot in 6th grade, so make sure you remember this. This is going to give us our volume. 3 times 5 is 15 inches. You have to multiply that by 6 inches. Whoop. Jumped. Multiply that by 6 inches. And 15, I'm going to do on the side because I don't know exactly what it is. 5 times 6 is 30. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 more is 9. So this gives us 90 inches cubed. So that's our first box. But remember, we have 2 boxes. So my second box I'm going to do in blue. My second box I have 10 by 6 by 3. So to find volume, I'm multiplying that, length times width times height. So 10 inches, sorry, let me label, 6 inches times 3 inches. 10 times 6 is 60 inches times 3. Ooh, why does it keep doing that? Times 3 more inches is going to give me 90 inches cubed. So I have 90 inches cubed for both of these. And we're going to combine the volume of the boxes. So if we're combining something, we're taking both and adding them together. So we're taking this 90 inches cubed plus this other 90 inches cubed. And then we get 180 inches cubed. And that would be your answer that you write here on this line. Okay, number 11. What is the volume of the jewelry box? We have another jewelry. Didn't we have a jewelry box earlier? So volume of a jewelry box. Okay, so I must have missed something in that last answer because it's telling me that it's wrong. What did I do wrong? 15 times 6. Did I get that wrong? Okay, we may have to circle back to number 10. I'm going to label that because I'm not sure. It's telling me that it is 270 inches squared. Okay, we'll come back to that one. Let's go ahead and go on to number 11. Okay, what is the volume of the jewelry box? Okay, so we have this jewelry box here. Let's make sure we can see the whole thing. And we need to find the volume. So we're going to multiply the length times the width times the height. So we're going to multiply this 5 centimeters by 15 centimeters by 10 centimeters. Okay, so 5 times 15. Let's do that on the side. That's 25. Carry my 2, 75. Okay, so we have these two equal to 75 centimeters, and then we have to multiply that by 10 centimeters. Oh, isn't multiplying 10 so easy? Oh my goodness, guys, I have not shown this to you. Okay, we have 5 centimeters by 15 centimeters by 10 centimeters, just like where it's shown here. I took my 15 times my 5 and found out that that's 75. 75 centimeters times 10 centimeters. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I can just add a 0, 750 centimeters cubed. Don't forget that. 750 centimeters cubed is the volume of this jewelry box. Okay, number 12. How many unit cubes would it take to make a model of a rectangular prism that is 4 units long and 5 units wide and 3 units high? Okay, so we have a rectangular prism. I'm going to draw one out here. It's not going to look perfect, but it will do. And let's go ahead and label this. So it says that it's going to be 4 units long. So this would be 4 units here. It's going to be 5 units wide. So this could be 5. And, oh, actually that's going to be the height. I'm sorry. Let's change that to a 3. And we'll take this piece here. This is going to be our 5 for 5 units wide. So we're just going to take those numbers. So if it helps, you guys can kind of draw something like this out. An easy way to draw it is I draw a box. And then in the middle of that box, I start another box. You can go down, you can even go up or to the other side, doesn't really matter. And then you just connect these corners that are adjacent from each other to make your box. Okay, so I have my 5 times my 4 times my 3. I know that 5 times 4 is 20. I got to multiply 3 more. So that gives me 60. And this is saying how many units cubed would it make? Okay, so I'm not sure what the unit is exactly. So we'll just say units cubed. Because we're not sure if it's feet, if it's inches, if it's centimeters. So we're just going to say 60 units cubed. Okay, let's go to 13. 13 is our last one. Then we got to circle back to number 10 and find out where we made our mistake. Okay, so 13. Caroline's cube had an edge that measures 2 centimeters. Dimitri's cube has an edge that measures 4 centimeters. If Caroline's cube was stacked on top of Dimitri's cube, what would be the total volume of this combined solid? Okay, so remember when we have cubes, they actually look very similar to this that I drew here. Cubes are squares put together. So they're going to be the same. So if she has a cube that is 2 centimeters, that means that it's 2 centimeters wide, 2 centimeters tall, and 2 centimeters in length. Okay, so if Caroline's cube is 2 centimeters, then that means we can multiply all of her length times her height times her width by 2. So we get 4 here, and then we have to multiply that 2 more, and we get 8. Oh my goodness. And we get 8 centimeters cubed. Okay. So if Dimitri's cube has an edge that makes 4 centimeters, and that means that his, let's use a different color for his. That means that his is 4 centimeters tall by 4 centimeters wide by 4 centimeters in length. 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 more. If I don't know how to do that, I do that very quickly on the side. Oop, yeah, okay. So I get 64. I get 64 centimeters cubed. Okay, so if Caroline's cube was stacked on top of Dimitri's, what would be the total volume? Okay, so our total volume, so we need to take the volume of both, we need to take the volume of Caroline's, the volume of Dimitri's, and we need to add them together. So 64 plus 8. And 8 plus 4 is 2. Carry the 1. 6 plus 1 is 7. So 72 centimeters cubed would be the total for their solid.